I'm Angela Child and I'm the principal of Dawnhouse School. It's an all-age specialist school for children and young people with speech, language and communication needs and or Asperger's syndrome. 3 years ago we worked very closely with our local CAMHS team and the support they offered was excellent. But because our CAMHS teams are in great demand and the pressures upon them are enormous, very often many of our children they're unable to support. And so when families come to us, they're really keen and interested in accessing the provision we can offer.
We recognised, I think, that we weren't able to fulfil some of the needs of the children in terms of their emotional needs, partly because we might see things displayed in terms of their behaviour, whether that's very aggressive behaviour or very withdrawn behaviour, and based on information that we also got from parents around difficulties that children were having outside of school. It just made us realise that we had got this whole area really, which we weren't able to support very effectively in.
So we felt as a school we really needed to extend the services we offered, and we knew of Todd, we knew that he was setting up psychological services, and we thought actually this could only enhance our provision yet further, and certainly in the 18 months he's been working with us it's proved to be extremely beneficial.
We found now that we wonder really how we would have been addressing some of these issues without having his input into school.
A lot of the students, because of their needs, do have high levels of anxiety, so they may come to us after having a really difficult time in previous settings. So they're coming to us with a lot of history around difficulties managing themselves in school or managing themselves at home as well. So it's a really good place for us to explore those feelings and support them with their anxieties, to enable them to achieve, to feel positive about themselves, to develop skills in managing themselves, just to achieve their best really within in the academic setting as well as within their personal social settings as well.
So the service that Todd provides for us in school is mainly around the student. It's all around what the child's needs are, but sometimes to work directly with a young person with communication disability is not easy and not appropriate. So we might decide that it's more appropriate to work with the staff that surround that child or with parents. So it can be a combination of any of those three really, parents, staff or pupils.
I think working with Todd has really helped me personally, because it helps me to have the confidence to know that I'm doing the right thing, because I get lots of support from my manager and from Angela, but having Todd there as well, who's an expert in mental health, child mental health, is really important to me, because I get the students that I work with are referred to me to work with as individuals, or I do small group work. So to know that I've got some support from Todd and that I know, and to know that I'm on the right lines, that I'm doing the things that I should be doing is really important. Because we know that sort of for a lot of our young people, they don't get that support directly from CAMHS because of how things work. And it's a long process to get that. So to have someone in school that can give us the staff and students and parents that support is really useful.
And I've had a couple of appointments with him to discuss how I can best help the pupil that I'm working one-to-one with. Because this particular pupil has an autistic spectrum disorder, he doesn't see the world the same way that I see the world, and no matter how long you work with someone, you can't always understand the way they're perceiving things. And in actual fact, if you work with them for a long time, people tend to think that you know all about them, but it's not true. So it's been very helpful for me to be able to go and talk to Todd and for him to suggest, well, perhaps this young person is actually feeling or thinking a certain thing that I haven't thought of. That's helped me to adapt the way that I work with the young person and overcome quite a few difficulties. As someone who's not trained in psychology, I can do my best with the information I've got and try to help a person and support them. But if I've got even a little bit of input from someone who is trained and is a professional, then every now and again they can help me to see things from a different angle, and that helps me to support the people I work with. So yeah, it's fantastically helpful.
We were a little bit lost as to how to progress, and I think Todd was very insightful. He did produce for me, after the first few sessions, a report and how he saw things really. And I think that was very helpful, a sort of stepping stone to moving forward.
We found that having someone who is actually employed by the school to work with our young people is much more effective, because they have a knowledge of the kinds of difficulties that the children have. They have a knowledge of the systems that we run in school. And it also means that we can support staff as well as, sort of indirectly, therefore, supporting the students and support parents as well. So it gives, having someone who is employed by the school, they get a much better rounded picture to enable the children to be supported more effectively.
And I would say that he has made great progress since I've been seeing Todd and since he's been seeing Todd. And from his own perspective, he enjoys the sessions. I think it's also made him see himself in a slightly different way and given him food for thought, really, as to who he is and what he can achieve, what he's capable of. Because I think he was rather trapped, feeling that somehow he needed protection around him. And I think it's enabled all of us, me and the school, to just let go a little bit.
We can go to Todd with a whole bunch of scenarios. This person has done this, this and this in the last few weeks, and we're not sure how to move forward or how to help this young person get over their anxieties. And Todd will sit and think and then make a suggestion that turns the whole way that you view the situation around on its head. And then that helps us to be able to think, oh, right, well, if this young person is feeling that, then the way to approach the problem would be something completely different from what we've been trying. So, yeah, I think we would definitely miss it if Todd weren't here.
He's a real valued part, member of the team, although he's only here every other week, and we know when he's coming, we can plan that ahead, we can contact him and sort of say, oh, I'd like to have a chat with you about a particular student, or parents may have let us know that they'd like to talk to him. So he's there, we know he's there, and we know when he's going to be there, so we can get that. We know when we can have that contact.
He's considered a really valuable member of the staff team. Although he visits fortnightly, he's very much part of the staff team, and that's how staff would regard him. So the usual practice of the school is that if there's a concern around an individual child, we might call a focus group meeting, and people who would attend would be the core team of teacher, LSA, speech and language therapist, if they're a residential student, their key worker, key care officer, but also Todd would become involved too, yes. We've had a recent Ofsted inspection where the school was judged outstanding, and certainly the emotional well-being of the students was commented upon, and the level of support students receive. So absolutely, yes, it's been a tremendous, the impact has been tremendous, both on the staff team, the development of staff expertise, but also, and most importantly, the impact on students. So Ofsted, March 2014, they said that pupils behave exceptionally well and make enormous strides in their ability to manage their own behaviour, which really demonstrates the impact Todd has had both on individual students but also on developing staff expertise in managing students' behaviour. What they go on to say is they respond positively to the strong and supportive relationships from adults and between each other. So it's not just reliance on adult guidance, but also the fact that their peers too are part of this process. I would really recommend to colleagues across all phases and sectors, whether they're mainstream or special or specialist schools. I can't speak highly enough of the impact of psychological services in our setting, and I'm sure colleagues in other settings would find have a similar experience too and find the impact just as great.